So funny again. All right, now, so check this out, y'all. So listen, so today we finna be doing what? Make sure. Oh, shit. Right. So, y'all, so listen, so today we finna be talking about what it means to be an actual spiritual warrior. Because we got a lot of people that be talking about it. But listen, I'm here to give y'all my opinion from a very warrior-minded perspective, right? Because what people have to understand, y'all, is listen, spirituality is just not all this, oh, I'm love and light. We trying to raise our vibration to the ninth dimension and touch Yahweh and the Elohim. Y'all, listen, that's not what spirituality is wholly. You see what I'm saying? Now, some of those things can be incorporated into your spiritual practice in some type of way, but I'm finna get to the real nitty gritty, what you need to really understand in what it truly means to be a spiritual warrior, right? So now we gonna go ahead and jump into it. So like I said, if y'all want y'all birth chart reading, y'all know where to follow me at Inferno Rex, right? Two O's and two X's, right? On Facebook. Inferno Rex on Twitter or X, right? Revelation came. But listen, y'all go check out my videos. Y'all should see it in the comment section on here. So now, first point. So now, the spiritual warrior does what, you all? The spiritual warrior rises when the soul refuses to stay asleep. You understand that? Now, what do I mean when I say the spiritual warrior rises when the soul refuses to stay asleep, right? So, what you have to understand, everybody is here for a certain mission. Everybody is here to do something, accomplish something, right? Everybody is really here, especially from the Vedic astrological school of thought that I study under. Everybody is here to burn karma. Understand that everybody is here to burn karma off, right? Things that weren't accomplished in past lives, they have to be done in this life, right? Or people are here to are here to generate new karma, right? You see what I'm saying? So what I want you all to understand is this, y'all listen. A lot of times when you refuse to like kind of like be held down and chained and shit like that, you gotta understand you're gonna be seen as a rebellious person. But you're not just seen as a rebellious person, you are a rebellious person, right? Because something is trying to constrict you and hold you back, and you just keep saying, hell no. I'm gonna give you a prime example of how this looks. You know how the majority of us understand, like the government is plotting on us, the food is fake, the doctors is fake, the medical industry is bullshit. You see what I'm saying? And so, what do we see people doing to counteract that? We see people coming up with their own medicine with herbology. We see people, you know what I'm talking about, watching what the news say, and then they get on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, and they report on what the news is reporting, trying to show you how things are falsified, right? So you see how the thing about it is, y'all, listen, your soul is when you really are a woke, conscious person, a lot of shit gonna start to really bother you, right? And a lot of times you're gonna feel like, okay, hey, I need to do something about this. I need to get in a certain position or a certain role to stand up and say, hey, listen, I need somebody to hear my voice, and maybe the shit that I say can make you know what I'm talking about, ripples that turn into large waves, right? You understand? And it can spread across a wide variety of people. Now everybody who hear my message can be, you know what I'm talking about, um, possibly and probably joining in on the actual cause as far as fighting against it, right? So yeah, so y'all listen. So when I say the spiritual warrior rises when the soul refuses to stay asleep, you got to remember you're not finna let them just tell you anything. Now you're gonna be aware, and then a lot of times when you're aware, now you want to fight back. This is what it is. So now, second point. So now, this is not a path of comfort, right? But of sacred fire. Understand that where illusions are burned and the truth is revealed. This is a real big one, y'all. And I want y'all to really listen up to this shit right here. When you call yourself a spiritual warrior, you have to have thick skin. You have to learn how to be tough. I want you all to understand that. This is not no, oh, well, they said what I don't like. I'm sad and I'm hurt. And oh my God, I wish we could all get along. You need to just quit that shit. And I'm going to tell you this. Reality, no matter how much you want to fantasize about how reality should be in your mind, I'm going to tell your ass this. Reality is still going to be reality. The way you perceive reality, that's a whole nother story, right? But I'm just keeping it a buck, right? So what you have to understand is that if you're looking for like a comfortable path, being a spiritual warrior, I mean, did you miss the warrior part? You're not just, oh, this crystal makes me feel tapped in and divine. No. What happens when it's time to suffer behind your beliefs? I'm just keeping it a buck. What happened when it's really time to suffer behind your beliefs? Most people just gonna be like, okay, well, forget it. I'm not worried about it. It ain't that serious. You know what I'm talking about? So, and that's a lot of people believe that they are truly spiritual. You may be a spiritual person, but you're not a spiritual warrior. You may be spiritual in the fact where you like, okay, listen, I believe in God. I believe in Elohim. I believe that they lined us. I believe that chakras is here. I believe that the Anunnakis. I believe the aliens. I believe that, you know what I'm talking about? All this spiritual, ghostly stuff and astral traveling. So you are spiritually tapped in to something, but are you a spiritual warrior? More than likely, probably not. If you ain't finna suffer behind any of that shit that you're talking about, I'm just keeping that a buck, right? I'm gonna give you a prime example of what I mean. Yeah, we all know about the from the pandemic and outbreak, right? You know what I'm talking about the actual jab and shit. You see what I'm saying? A lot of y'all was really, 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 really spiritual until it was time to get that jab. Y'all said, "Oh fuck it, listen, I gotta work. I'm not finna be out here homeless. I'm not finna do none of that." And y'all went and got it. You don't believe in it at all. You truly don't believe in it, but you got it because you want to be comfortable. That's not a spiritual war. You weren't ready to fight behind or lose. Nothing behind any of that shit at all. So that's what I mean. And there are a myriad of different cases that are just like that. You claim to be a spiritual warrior, yet in the face of like uncertainty, you see what I'm saying? You fold. Where is the honor? Where is the dignity? Where is the true spiritual self respect? A lot of times, y'all just be talking. Y'all just be just lying, right? Well, you know what? You're not really lying. You just don't know how spiritual you are until some shit like that actually happens. So if everything is going all good, you're gonna be completely 100% spiritual as hell. But when shit started to go bad, a lot of y'all immediately revert back to a very materialistic, you know what I'm talking about? Like kind of like primal type of thinking, right? You see what I'm saying? You like, shit, I gotta survive. I can't. Shit, what you mean? Listen, you know the you know the what you call is tearing people ass up. You still gonna get it because you wanna know why you feel like well that's the only way that you can survive. You ain't trying to think of no alternative ways, even though there are alternative ways, but they just too uncomfortable. You just like, man, forget it. I'm just going here. Yeah, most people ain't no spiritual war. You're not ready to suffer behind your actual beliefs, especially if you feel like you don't have a lot of people supporting you on it. Yeah, I mean, it's just the truth, right? So now let's look at the other one, right? So now, before that, I want you to understand. But this is the actual truth, right? Listen, things are going to be uncomfortable. Shit is going to be ugly. Listen, this spiritual shit is not going to be just no 100% nice thing. I need you all to understand that this is a very transformative path, and a lot of times that we get into our spiritual awakening because of certain traumatic events that happen in our life. So don't think that it's gonna be sugar spice and everything nice. Hell no. It might be sharp and prickly. You understand that? So now let's go to the next point. They are summoned not by the world. You don't understand this, but by something ancient, divine, and eternal within, and eternal within, right? So what you all have to understand. A lot of you all talk about ancestors, spiritual deities, or whatever. A lot of that shit more than likely does exist. However, the thing about it is, when you are on the spiritual path, whether it be herbalism, whether it be tarot cards, whether it be astrology, whether it be any form of like this metaphysical aspect, right? A lot of times that is, you know what I'm saying, something that's kind of being pushed by something that's older than what we are, the universe itself, right? The universe itself is very cyclical in nature. What I want everybody to understand that the universe is very cyclical in nature, and then there are two different sides. Well, there are two different sides, and it's like a whole bunch of you know what I'm talking about many energies inside of both of those sides that kind of like churn and twist and connect and disconnect and shit like that. Because this is what I'm saying. Life is really truly a gray area, right? What you have to understand, the universe is constantly putting things on Earth in real life to actually be destroyed and built, right? You see what I'm saying? And the universe does let negative energy win a lot of times. Universe does let positive energy win a lot of times. You want to know why? Because the universe itself, it just is, right? But the thing about it is, you on your spiritual path trying to help people, you are supposed to be a part of the universe that's actually, you know what I'm talking about, destroying shit to create better things, right? You see what I'm saying? Or just building good things in general, right? Because that's your whole spiritual path is to raise the vibration of not only yourself, but the world around you that you live in so that the future generations can thrive and you know what I'm talking about, live comfortably, right? But that's that ancient survivalist instinct. You know what I'm talking about? Universal instinct, and there's also, I mean, it's many ways to really kind of look at it. But I wanted to give y'all a general understanding. Y'all, listen, when you spiritual, something older than what you probably know, something deep, something ancient, something divine, something that probably forever is calling you. Real, I'm just keeping it a book. You can call it fate, you can call it God, you can call it whatever, but just know it's something. So now let's go to the next what you call it. So now the sacred war within, right? So now listen, every day is a battle between the higher self and the lower self. You have to understand that. It's always a battle, right? The lower self, right? Those are those more easier. You want to know why so many people are bad? Because it's just easy. It's easy to be in your low state. Selfishness, aggression, lying, scheming, or whatever. It's really easy to just do all that, right? Because a lot of times when you selfish, you doing what you want, you getting what you want, but you're not worried about other people, how you hurting, whatever. A lot of people do feel a lot of it's crazy, but a lot of people do feel good like that. They ain't got nobody to worry about. They be like, shit, yeah, but the higher self, that's the more dignified and dutiful type of aspect of you know what I'm talking about. And even if the duty is to actually be free and remain liberated, right? But there is always a constant battle between the higher self and the lower self. You want to know why? Because humans are imperfect, right? And we live on the world in a realm, right, where you got to remember everything is always in flux. Everything is always fluctuating. You understand? So really, in life, everything should be based off. You know what I'm talking about? Fluctuating percentage levels, right? You see what I'm saying? Some days you up, some days you down. Some days you feel like you can take on the world. Some days you feel like, man, listen, man, forget all this shit. I'm not worried about nobody. I don't care. They ain't worried about shit. I'm not gonna worry about it. And that's just life, right? And a lot of times your lower self could be just more just negative and just you know what I'm talking about, like and shit. You have noticed them people who just foul, you just really don't want to be around or really truly deal with. A lot of times you can be in your lower self from that aspect, but the higher self, a lot of times it's going to you well, from my opinion, what I've seen in people, how I play that in people. A lot of times when you tap into the higher aspect of who you are, you want to help people, you want to extend a hand to other people, right? Yeah, I'm just giving a book, right? Second point, the spiritual warrior does not run from darkness, they enter it, right? Understand that, armed with light. Do you understand that? The thing about it is, you're not running from the actual dark. The thing about it is, you have to go in the actual dark. When you close your eyes and you meditate, what did you see? It's dark. Before all this other lights and shit come in y'all little imagination, y'all, whatever vision, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just keeping it up. You got to end life. Understand that you have to go within the darkness of yourself and then have them little epiphanies and them little spiritual awakening moments to be like, oh, damn, Eureka. When that light bulb just pop over your head, yeah, that's what it is, right? So what you got to understand. Y'all, don't be scared of the darkness, y'all. You are darkness. In a very strong way, a very strong way, in a very strong aspect, right? Hold up, y'all. That shit can be There we go. I hate when stuff be doing shit. Lord have mercy. I accidentally clicked off that shit. But yeah. And this is what I want y'all to understand is that the darkness is not an inherently bad thing. Energy itself is just, you know, it's my energy until a person adds their own flavor or spice to it. Do I think there are certain foul, evil energies in the universe? Yes, I do. I don't 100% believe in, okay, all energy is just energy to you. I believe it's some real messed up bad shit, some ancient shit. I believe it's some real good shit here, right? I'm just keeping it real. So now, third point, meditation is their actual shield, love is their sword, and guess what? And silence is the actual battlefield, right? Y'all, not every, you know, a lot of people like to tend to like get into these verbal disputes and verbal altercations 24/7 when it comes to battling other people's perspective and opinions about spirituality, spiritual topics, or just shit in general, right? Every battle does not have to be fought. I'm just telling y'all that now. You do not have to continuously put yourself in battles. You really don't. Right? Meditation, y'all, listen, you gotta understand that should be helping protect you, right? Because it's about calming the mind, right? Grounding yourself, right? Probably trying to reach some new stages or achievements of enlightenment. Right? So now they gain strength in pain and they find transformation, right? And I want y'all to understand, y'all, that's a very real thing, y'all. That suffering, that pain, that hate, that anger, that aggression, that agony, all that toxic ill, all that hate, all that raw, fucked up energy that you feel like you have, y'all, listen, mold that. Don't let it control you, you control it, right? And then you redirect it, understand that, right? Lightning itself is a lightning, the elemental energy of lightning is a very powerful and a very dangerous force of nature, right? You see what I'm saying? And you gotta remember, but if you can conduct it, you can use it, you know what I'm talking about, in a whole bunch of different manners, right? They can be beneficial. So let's look at it from this aspect. Basically, lightning is a form of electricity, right? But look at what we've done with y'all watch me right now from an electronic device, right? But we all know electricity is hot. It can shock you, it can damage you, it can mess you up. But check this out. But look what we done did with it, right? We turn this shit into phones, lights, computers, all type of shit, right? Cars, radios. You see what I'm saying? So the thing about it is, y'all listen. I say that because electricity raw by itself is dangerous to just touch. Lightning dangerous to just touch until you conduct that shit and mold it to the way you want it to go. Man, listen. Understand, y'all. You have to actually turn your pain into power. I'm not playing about that. Let's go to the last one. So now, walking in divine power, right? So now, the warrior is willing to stand against the noise, the systems, and the illusions of the actual world, right? You got to learn how to be Neo in the Matrix. It's just what it is. If you ever have y'all ever watched that movie Divergent? The movie Divergent, the little series Divergent, Insurgent, and a Legion and shit like that. Have y'all ever watched Maze Runner? Have y'all ever watched Maze Runner? Go watch Maze Runner. Matter of fact, go watch Blade Runner too, right? Tell man, go listen. You'll thank me later. And go and watch them with your mind open to about what this right here is actually saying. Right? Go watch Hunger Games, especially the last install with Katniss as the main character, not this other one, whatever the hell that was came out. But yeah, so y'all listen. The warriors willing to stand against the noise, the systems, and the illusions of the world. You understand that some shit ain't right, and you not finna bow down. That's what it really means to be a spiritual warrior, right? Especially in a world full of corruption, a world full of pain, a world full of, you know what I'm saying, clicks and man, it's real talk. You have to learn how to be powerful and remain powerful, and that's just what it is, right? So now, when the world demands silence, they speak. When it demands conformity, they remain sovereign, right? You're not letting no external influence tell you how life is and who you need to be as a person and what you should follow and why you should follow. Now, I get it from an actual societal standpoint. We do need a certain, you know what I'm saying, people to behave in a certain manner for a functioning society, healthy, long term, right? But just in your own independent life, man, nobody got time for all that shit. We see the lies, we see the destruction, we see all of it. Now is your time to stand up and fight against the shit. You see, and I'm gonna say it like this: you see all the lies, you see all the deception, you see all the pain, you see all the illusions, you see through the actual deception. But guess what? If you can do all that, then guess what? You are somebody who should be actively fighting against that shit. You understand that? Learn how to stand for something. Understand for real talk. Learn how to stand for something. Everything ain't always funny. Everything ain't always a game. Some shit is for real. Some shit is for real, for real. I'm keeping all the way on. Some shit is for real. Stand strong. Stop letting lot of y'all fall off y'all square at the slightest inconvenience of shit. Like what the hell? Y'all better stop. They are not rebellious for ego's sake. They are loyal to a higher truth that are many fear to see. Right? It's like we have a certain vision or a certain understanding that other people don't about how shit should be and how we can make things better. Right? Real talk. Right? So that's what we really fight for is the ideas and the ideals that we actually have about a certain situation or event, right? How can we make this better? How can we make this shit? How can we bring more awareness to this? How can we radically change this shit? Real talk. Courage is not just facing enemies; it's facing the world judgment and still walking your sacred path. A lot of people can't really do that. A lot of people can't really do that. You don't need to be one of them people though, and you don't need to be one of those people who can't though. Why I say that? Because you got to understand, John. Listen, people gonna talk about you whether you're doing good or bad, right? You got serial killers right now who get. You got serial killers who have killed women, and if there are still some women that write them family. I'm pretty sure it, vice versa as well. What you have to understand is this, y'all. Listen, people gonna like you whether you doing good or whether you doing bad, right? A lot of times people feel like their idea ain't strong enough if somebody not supporting it with them. A lot of times people feel like they need backup from other people in order to feel like they strong and shit like that. That's not really a good thing. You understand? It's a good thing when y'all all get together, but it's not a good thing if you feel like your voice don't matter alone. Real talk. How else you gonna learn how to be a leader? How you gonna really be a warrior? Warriors fight, right? And if you ain't finna have no leader over you, then you need to know how to lead your damn self, right? You listen. No matter what position you assume, especially when you want to make rise and status, or you just want to really be your real true self, right? Without all the filters that modern society has given us, right? Yeah, you're gonna have to fight for that shit because the people who program still gonna try to come at you, still gonna try to say some shit, but they talk shit about people that's good and bad, so it really don't matter. So if you out here to actually, put some warrior energy in the world, keep that shit in the world, right? Keep putting that shit out there, right? And don't expect nothing in return from it, right? Listen, that is one of your obligations. That's not. I'm not saying it's the only thing you got to do. But just do and don't expect nothing in return. That's a lot of people feel like, well, I want to stop being spiritual because I ain't getting no money from it. I'm gonna stop being spiritual because I ain't getting this from it. A lot of y'all looking at spirituality in a transactional way. I be like, damn, you gotta learn how to just stand up and just be like, man, I'm not worried about what nobody else gonna say. It is what it is, and that's how I am. It just is what it is. Like real talk. So yes, y'all, that's what I want y'all to understand. Y'all listen. This is just a quick little video about walking in your divine power and really understanding, what it means to be a spiritual warrior. This is just a brief aspect. Of course, I'm gonna make some more videos in the future going way more in depth. But yeah. But yes, y'all, but other than that, y'all know where to hit me up at. Follow all my links. My social medias will be in the actual description box. But until then, I will holler at y'all as later. I understand that. All right. Peace.